Hello everybody, Michael here. Today I'm going to code a small JavaScript program with some HTML and some CSS, and it's going to be a dice game. So the basic intention is to show you how you can work with JavaScript when you code such an application, and we're going to see how we structure the code in ECMAScript modules. We're going to see how we work with a few events and how we can update the DOM. So that is the basic idea for today. And it's going to be sort of how to program a smaller app in JavaScript. So let's go. I have created a boilerplate here just to get going. And let's see if we can sort of inspect it. So I have a directory structure here. So a page where I sort of include everything. I have a main.js where to start with. This image is just for the fav icon. And I have a small style sheet. We can just sort of quickly review these files. So the style sheet is quite empty for now. Okay. So that was just a fav icon image, and the JavaScript file, it's also sort of empty, just printing out ready to code. And then we have the page HTML, sort of binding everything together, and we can just have a quick look at it. So it's doc type HTML, and we have an HTML part, we have a head part with the title, where we include the style sheet, and we set up the glide, the icon, fav icon. Then we have a main just saying, okay, it's going to be a dice game. Let's have fun and play it. And at the bottom, I'm going to import my JavaScript here. And let me change that directly because I said I'm going to work with ESM modules. So let's make this a module. So this is a module. Now the browser knows that I'm going to work with ECMAScript modules, and that will help me sort of how the JavaScript files are included into the browser. So there we go. To actually see what happens, maybe I should just start up and I can sort of everything I see on this, and I have a live preview there. Good. So if I change something here, whoops, yep, it's going to work. So let's keep with that. I can't actually see the dev tools there. So if I want to see the dev tools, I can open it up. Still looking in a live preview, but I can open it up in a new browser and I can do inspect for it. Yes, I see the elements and I see the console ready to code. So, and we can also check out the maybe could we check out the networks, see what parts this sort of page application consists of. Okay, so we have the style and the main. I'm just going to do a final reload. Okay, so we have, since this is a live preview, Visual Studio Code does some sort of injection of parts, but I can leave that. I have page, style, main, and the fav icon. Good way. So now I guess we can start. Let me just think about where I should start with, and then we move on. Okay, I think I have an idea. I'm going to start with the graphical user interface. So I'm going to start with the sort of the divs and the buttons on the HTML page. So that makes me sort of think on how I'm going to structure the game, what I want from the game from sort of a use case perspective. So let's start with that. So here we have a start, and the first thing I want to have here is some kind of button where button saying start or restart game. So that is my intention. And since I'm going to connect an event handler to this, I'm going to sort of provide an ID to the button. So when I click on this button, then I'm going to start the game. And what will be the first thing that happens when I start the game? So then I'm going to show the player area. So I think I'm going to create a div like that, and I'm going to call it the player area. Okay, player area. I can also sort of this should be hidden from the start, so I'm going to give it a class of hidden, so that will sort of not be showed by the start. Maybe I can sort of already create the computer area also, since I'm going to have that. So computer area. So first I'm going to show the player area, and then I'm going to show the computer area when the player is done. So at the player area, I'm going to need 2 sets of buttons. So I'm going to go with one button will be roll. So that means that the player is going to roll a dice. Let's give a sort of a layer there. So that is going to be when the player roll, and here the player can stop and then hand it over to the computer to make sort of the computer play instead. And then I'm going to show this area. And here is the computer. And I'm going to need one button, so let me just borrow that one up there. And computer roll. Let's just give it that. Let me roll the dice. 1, 1, 1. And there we go. Okay. So here we have sort of the button, the area, and I'm going to sort of use event handlers to show and hide the areas so we don't see them all at once. Should we do anything more here? Okay. No, maybe we can just leave it like this, I guess. Yeah. So I have a rough area. Let's just go into the style sheet and let's create the class hidden. And that should do something like display none. So there we go. So when a class has that div is going to disappear. Good. So I think we are more or less ready for now. Maybe. No, I think I'm going to go there. So I wonder what the next step will be. Let's see. You know what? I think I'm going to go in and try to create a dice class. I just want to go in and see my ability how to create JavaScript code. Okay, so let's do that. So this dice class, it's going to be a JavaScript modules. And I'm going to create the directory where I put all my modules. So that is my preference of how to structure my modules. So let's start with the dice class there. And first thing here in the dice class would be to do an export default of the class I'm going to work with. Class dice like that. Okay, so let me just quickly create the dice here. So I think I'm going to have a last a last value of the dice. Yeah, maybe that is all. And then I need to be able to roll the dice. Roll the dice and provide a value to the last there. And I'm going to do some kind of random here. So I do think that the random for creating a dice would look something like this, if I remember correctly. So that would be sort of a dice randomize. Maybe I should also return this value. I don't know if I need to, but it's nice. Okay, so there I return the value. I do think that I think I'm gonna need some way to get the last rolled dice value also. Could be nice. So let's just do a return this last, something like that. Maybe if this could be sort of a working dice, you know what? If I sort of get a bit more area there, maybe I could just remove this for the time being. And then I open up the main program, open up the dice to the right, split right. There we go. So we have the dice class there. And here we have the JavaScript main. One thing now, I don't really need to have this use strict for now, since I'm working as ECMAScript modules, so the strict way will be enforced as default, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to import the dice here from the file in the modules and dice.js like that. Okay, so I'm importing that. So let's try and see if this actually works. So how should we do this? So I think const is good. So const dice new dice, something like that, and we do dice roll without interfering, without sort of taking the value, and then we do console.log, and we print out the dice value. What was it? Last value, like that. So okay, so we have a module, ESM module. Now it's currently a class, exporting it. I'm importing it into my main. I'm creating a new object of it. I'm using it. I'm just printing out the value. So if I go to the, where do I have that? There. So if oops, look there. Ooh, it's already reloaded. Let's do 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 6. Okay, so seems to be working. My small sort of dice class, I'm quite happy with that. Let's see where we are. There we are. So I'm quite happy with that. Let me just sort of take a short moment of thinking time to consider where to move on from here. Okay, I think I have a plan. So, since I'm going to have two players in this game, I'm going to have the end user, or me, the player of the game, and then I'm going to have the computer player. But both these players, I do think that they will have the same behavior, the same code. So I think I'm going to go ahead and create another class, and another class called player, and that player will be using the dice class. I think that will be a nice way to do it. So to be able to do that, let me just take a copy of the dice there and change its name to player. Then we have the player here. So export the player class, And then we need to figure out what should we have here. So I think I'm going to have a sum that is starting on 0. I think I'm going to have a roles variable saving all the roles, and I'm going to make it easy for me. I'm going to save them as a string. And then I'm going to need to have a dice. So each player will sort of have their own dice here. And oops, oh, wow, magic. So then I need to import the dice from dice. Yes. So let's see if that works. If we need to have that, or maybe it works like that. Let's see. Okay, so there we have the private variables. What do we need to do more? Okay, so I think we need to do something a role. So what happens when a player makes a role? Okay, so the first role would be to sort of update the sum. So when the player rolls, and that would be the dice roll. So when the player rolls the dice, we're going to increment the sum. Yes. And then we're also going to need some kind of graphical representation here. But let's make it like this for the time being. So I think this is the roles. I want to save all the roles made so the user can see them. So roles. So this is a string, but I can concatenate this string also. And maybe I can do it something like get just the last value. Maybe that will work. We can see, we can try it out like that. Okay, so this is a this is some kind of player. Let's make this the smallest possible player. I'm gonna move ahead. I can remove that. I can go to the main there. So I have the main, and so this was my small tests for the just gonna comment it out. That was my small test for the dice. So let's see if I can make the small test for the player class also. So this is the player. So let's start with the player. Equals new player like that. We can have a computer player also. New player like that. Okay. And then we can sort of the player dot role like that. Okay, let's have the player there so we see what we are actually working with. So this is the role. It doesn't sort of return anything. Should we? Okay, let's figure out how we're going to work with that. It could sort of. What could it return? Maybe, let's see, we do like this. Okay, I'll leave it for there. So player role, and let's see, player role 3 times. And then I'm going to print it out. And how am I going to do that? So player dot, I think I need to sort of have an ability to print out the sum, perhaps. And it feels like I also want to have the ability to print out the roles made. So, okay, so let's do that. So I think this is the sum then. So how do I want to return the sum? I think for now I want to have a string for this. Sum. Let's make this a backtick string using interpolation, and into this we're going to add the sum variable, something like this. So this is going to return the current sum from all those sort of 3 rows. And then I need to save the roles. I have saved the roles, but I want the ability to return them also. So return this roles like that. Okay. So this will contain a string of all the dices rolled. This is just a string containing the sum of all the rolls made. So this is a start for the player class. Let's see if I can actually make this work. So if I go here, modules dice there. So maybe let's see if we can go into the player class there and enter dice.js, and then we go back and it reloads the page on itself. So last is not this dice last is not a function at player role 1035. So let's see where that is. The player role there, dice last. Okay, so what is the value? The value. So that's how it should look like. Okay, oops. There we go. So I can reload the page. So it's sum 9. I got a 6, a 1, a 2. Sum 5, I got a 2, 2, 2. Let's just change so we can. No, we can't. Roles. I just want to sort of enhance the visibility currently for how the sort of series of the dices look like. So there, I'm just gonna add a bracket to it. Let's see if, oops, there we go. So a bit more obvious. So 422, that's an 8. 623, that's 11. 654, okay. And then we should let's try that on the computer player also, just to assure that. Yay, computer. So let the computer roll 3 times, and console dot log, just saying computer, and make a copy of that, and then say that, okay, here we go with the player part. And so let's see. You know what also? I really don't need to import the dice now, since I am not actually using the dice in this main now. I'm only using the player, and the player in this part is importing the dice into its module. So it's fine to only use the player there. And let's see. Let's go to the web page, and I'm going to reload it. Let's go up there. So I'm going to reload this now. Okay, so the player has a sum of 5, 2, 2, 1. The computer has a sum of 5 also, 1, 1, 3. And I'm going to do reload. The player got a sum of 8, 3 plus 3 plus 2. The computer got 11, 3, 2, 6. Okay, nice. So let me think about how I should move on from here. Give me a minute. Okay, one small thing before I move ahead. So I wanted to have some kind of graphical dice, and I think that would be fair to put that part into the dice. So I have actually sort of used the UTF-8 characters for the dice here. I have sort of downloaded it from the internet, so it takes me a minute or two to do it, and I put it into a graphical array there. So here I'm just going to add a graphical. So I'm going to add a graphical method to my dice class. Oops. So the idea is here that so this is going to return the value, but this is going to return a graphical representation of the dice. So this is going to return the this dot graphical, I think, and then I'm going to, so here we see this value there. Okay, so let's see how this is supposed to be working then. So I have an array up there starting on 0. Okay, starting on 0. Let's remember that. And then I'm going to return that from the value. But if this value is 1, it will return the wrong dice. So I think I'm going to have to do -1 there just to sort of match the actual value to the correct dice, graphical dice there. Okay, nice. And maybe just to check that this sort of works, let's go over to the player there. And there we have the roles. So let's take a copy of that and then comment out that. And instead of these sort of combination here, let's move the graphical choice down to the dice graphical instead, like that. So I wonder if this will work. Do I need to do any more changes? Save and go back there. Syntax error must be declared. Private field must be, okay, dice 15, dice line 15. Dice. There we go. It is not. Why am I having lost, and then I get the value of the dice? Okay, fine. Okay. I can live with that. Okay, so here we go. Wow. So if I reload the page, oh, the player got 3 1s down there. And the computer got an 8, it's a 4, 1, and a 3. Okay, good. So I have that graphical representation. Nice. Now what? Yeah, I think I'm going to start cleaning up my main program and sort of attach some event handlers to the buttons and try to interact with the DOM and see if that sort of works out for me. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's clean it up here. So I'm just gonna sort of remove this. I don't need that for now. Okay, let's remove the console.log. So let's remove the example program for the dice. I will have these 2 players, okay? Currently, I don't need to sort of have the debug in output there. So let's start with this. Okay, so the first thing I need now to do is sort of to attach an event handlers to the different buttons on the page. So I can, if I move up the page.html there, we see a few of the items we have there. So what type of elements do we need to have here? So I think I'm gonna have the start. So let me just finish this. Get element by ID, and the ID is start. Okay, so here I'm trying to get the DOM element that is sort of representing this start button. Okay, good. And well, that's a fine start, but let's just move on to get all the other elements that I need to have here. So I'm going to get the player area, and that should also be the document. Get element by ID, and we had called that the player area, like that. Okay, nice. Make it a bit wider like that. And we have also a computer area, right? Computer area like that. Okay, nice. Going to do like that. Okay, computer area, player area, computer area. Then we have role, stop, and computer role. So we have sort of 3 more. Let's take 1, 2, 3. So we have the role, and that is role ID. Then we have the stop button with the stop ID. And then we have the computer role, and computer role it is. No, it was fine. Okay, I'm just gonna move them up here below the player area. Then I have the player parts here, and I have the computer parts there. Good thing, right? Let's see how I sort of connect the start button here. So let's see, start the game. So to do this, I need to have sort of add an event listener to this specific button. So the button is start, and I'm going to add event listener to it. And it's going to be on a click event here. And when that event happens, I'm going to add a sort of inline event handler for it. So I'm not going to structure my game here with additional functions. I'm just going sort of a bit roughly go ahead with this coding style here. So there we go. What should happen when I click the start button? Okay, let's see what I need to do there. Okay, so I think the first thing I need to do is to sort of show the player div. And I can also ensure that the computer div is sort of hidden. So, okay, let's start with that. The player area, and let's work with the class list here. So this is the list of classes, and what I want to do here is to remove the hidden class. So it is currently this hidden class that is not showing the player area. So if I remove that, I anticipate that I'm going to see that area. I can also a bit sort of assure that the computer area is still hidden. So let's sort of add the hidden class. Okay, so the hidden class is already there, but you never know when I start playing the game. I played one area and then I want to restart the game perhaps, and the computer area was displayed. So I'm better assured that I'm sort of gonna hide the computer area by doing this like that. Okay, and then I think, so this is start and restart. So I think I need to have a reset function for the player. And then I also need somewhere where I could sort of show the player sum. And I'm just going to go with inner HTML here. So I need to have somewhere where I can show the player sum. And that I can get from the player, was it sum? Something like that. And I also should sort of, what was it? The roles. So I need a place where I can do the roles. So the basic intention here is to reset the player, show its current status somewhere on the game arena. So to be able to do this, I sort of need to somewhere, perhaps here, I should have something like, let's make it a span, and let's make it an ID of, what did I say? Player sum. And then we can have, oops. So let's show them on the same line here. So player sum and player roles. Okay, so to be able to use them, I need to go up here and create the sort of 1, 2 elements. So player sum and player roles, player sum and player roles. So it's a lot of interconnection here to be able to update the graphical user interface, my web page that is. So something like that. I do wonder, will this work? So what happens if we just sort of go to the web page and we reload it? Okay, nothing happens. And then I click the restart game. Okay, player.reset is not a function. Okay, let's add a player reset here. Reset. And how do we want to reset the game here? Should be something like this. Okay, I don't actually need a new dice, right? I can use the old dice, but I want to sort of set the sum, and I also want to set the roles. So sum is, I want to reset it or clear it. Okay, so there we go. And let's go back to the start and restart. So I reload it just in case. Then we see, okay, dice game 21, start, player, sum, 0. I wonder what happens if I push the button. Hey, maybe, let's see if we can do that also. Let's player roll. Dice. So how can we then roll a dice? So this is the roll button there. So roll, and we add an event listener to that. And the event listener would be the click on that button. And when we do, we're going to have this callback. And okay, so let's try and remember. How did we roll a dice? So player.roll. Player.roll the dice, and then we update the user interface with the sum and the rolls. Is it more? Maybe not. Let's see. Let's go back and let's start the game. Oops, and roll. 1, 2, 3. It seems to somehow working. Oops, too much. Okay, let's go in there. When we are over 21, no more rolls. If this dot sum is larger than 21, then just return. just to sort of return. I can also remove this so we don't have that sort of laying there. Okay, so let's go back and we start the game. So play time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. To really reload the game. Roll, 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 roll. Stop. Okay. No more rolls. Stopping at when we are at 21 or above 21. If this sum is above 21, no more rolls. Okay, good. So, okay. So basically this is sort of starting to look like a game, like that. So when we do the stop button, then we would like to hand over to the computer player. Okay, let's see how that works. Player chooses stop. And the first thing there would be to sort of this is the stop button. Okay, so this, yes, the stop button. So stop.add add event listener, and it's going to be a click event here also. There's a lot of different events we can use, but so the click event is going to solve most things for us today. So when the user chooses stop, I want to sort of show the computer area. So computer area, and we remove the hidden class from it. We will also would like to sort of do these things, but these things we would like to do with the computer instead. So computer, like that. We would also like to have the computer sum and the computer roles. So we need to go in here. We added this part for the player, and the computer needs to have sort of the same setup here, but it will be the computer part instead, like that. Okay. So let's think. Okay. Okay, something there. Okay, I guess we are missing that one. So maybe if I copy these down to the computer area there, and I change the player there to computer, and maybe it just sort of works out like that. So I have attached my elements. I'm adding event listeners. I'm working sort of with the DOM, using CSS classes to show and hide. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if this works. Well, we can just sort of try it out. So I'm assuming it's sort of has reloaded. I'm gonna do a shift reload anyway. So the player goes ahead, and then we stop, and then it's the computer, and the computer needs to roll some of the dice here. Okay, I'm just gonna go in. I think these are a bit small. I wonder if I can go in and add some style to it to make it a bit larger. If I want to do that, I need to have a class for the dices. Class dice. And I also need to have the same class up there, class dice. So then I can attach in the style sheet here, dice class, and let's font size perhaps, and I'm gonna add it to like 32 pixels maybe. Let's see what happens. So let's start the game. Roll. Okay, roll, 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 roll. Yep, I guess that works. Maybe we could just, okay, so now it's fine for that. Oops, stop. Can't roll anymore. Still, we can go stop. And now the computer should be able to roll their dice. Okay, so let me just sort of have a a small lapse of reasoning and see where to go from here. Hold on. Okay, so let's see if we can wrap this up and also have the computer roll the dice and sort of make the game done, or to say. So computer rolls, and when the computer has rolled, we also decide on a winner. So what are the button we are going to connect here to? So I think it was the computer roll. Okay, I see it's a bit grayish there, so I haven't used it yet. Computer roll and add event listener. There we go. And it's still going to be a click event. And then we add this arrow event handler like that. And so let's see, how should we do like this? Okay, I think I'm going to have sort of the computer can roll until it's sort of until the score reaches 18 or above. Okay, so maybe I can do this in some kind of a while loop. Maybe. So what would this look like? So computer dot score. I want to have sort of the score, the sum. If I look here, I don't have a score function, right? I have a sum function, but that returns a string for printing out. So I actually want more or less the same, but here I want to have the score instead, which is only the raw sum of the game. So that is the score. Okay, so I can have that there. So while the score is less than 18, then do a computer.roll like that. And we could also do an update of the computer game area, like that. So it's just going to roll an update. It's not going to do a sleep or so. So we're just going to see basically all the rolls made in one sort of roll. But let's keep that for another day, and perhaps we can sort of improve that with some kind of sleep or timing event or something like that. So we actually see that the computer rolls 1, 2, 3, and not like 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's have that. Let's see if this works. We don't want to have sort of an eternal loop here in our game. So the player rolls, and then we stop. And then the computer, let me roll the dice. Oops, 20. I wonder if we can roll the dice again. I wonder what happens. Nothing happens. Yes. Yes. It will not roll more than when it's above 18. It will not roll more. So it doesn't matter how many times we click this button, really. So let's start a new game. So let's roll and see. 18. I'm going to stop there. The computer, let's see. 23. I am the winner, but I can't see. So let's announce the winner also. So let's see. Who should be the winner here? So have a const winner, and let's make a default. So player, what would be the player win? So this player win, the idea here is to have somewhere in the somewhere where we actually could sort of announce the winner. So let's see if I add a span here, winner like that, and then I make this sort of hidden to start with, okay, and then I added an ID so I can connect to it. player win. Something like that. Okay, let me just make it a bit larger for the time being. Okay, so then I can sort of display this area when the player wins. And I can display this area when the computer wins. But these are both hidden from the start. At least that is the intention. So, okay. So I need to go up here. Let's just add these two down here. So the player win should be player win connecting to that element. And let's do like this instead. So player win, and then we go like this and make it a computer win. And then we have sort of these two elements that we can show and sort of hide. Yeah, as long as we up here also. So let's sort of ensure that the player win there, and they are sort of hidden to start with. They should be, you know, this reset part. We should also sort of clear it out if we have played the game once or twice. So, okay, so let's have them hidden. So now I only need to, and then I sort of expect, okay, it's always the player winning. But then I could sort of see, when will the computer win? Okay, so the computer will win if the player dot score is above 21. So when the player is fat, or so to say, then the winner will be the computer win. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, nice. Else, if so, is there any more condition when the computer will win? Yes, if computer.score is larger or equal to player.score. Okay. Then the computer is the winner. Do we have any more like this? Okay, maybe we have. I do also think that if the computer is too sort of, if the computer is fat, else if, let's make a let's make that test also. So if the computer dot score is above 21, so when the computer is fat, or so to say, too many points, then it will be the player that wins. Player. Okay. And then we have sort of, okay, let's just see. So we have everything up, and there we had an error like that. Oh, looks much better. Thank you. So now we have sort of an element to update. And what will it be? Winner dot add, not add, it's the class list, and remove the class hidden from it, and sort of stating that it, yay, you are the winner. Let's see if we can sort of, okay, let's go. Start the game. Roll the player 18. Stop. Computer, roll. Who? 21. But it was no winner announced. Why no winner? Stop. Ooh, okay, I did a hard reload there. So no, the player can't be the winner on if the computer has 20. That seems a bit odd. Let's restart and do some tests more. The player will stop, the computer rolls, the computer is also 21, and no winner. Okay, so let's see if we can try to figure this out in a nice way. Maybe I need to do some small sort of debugging. Let's see. If player score is above 21, then the computer is the winner. If the computer's score is above 21, then the player is the winner. Fine. Else, if the computer score, call the function, call the function, and we got no errors. Very friendly JavaScript there. Bad. Computer score is more than equal to the player score, then the computer is the winner. Okay, so maybe that was the sort of thing there. The winner class remove hidden. And when we restart the game, player win and computer win, we add the hidden part. Okay, let's try one more. So I'm gonna hard reload this now. So start the game, let's the player roll, stop on 19, computer will roll the dice, 23. Why isn't my sort of winner updated? Let's see if we can sort of let's go back. Player win and computer win. Let's go up and see if we can just see. Player win, computer win. Player win, computer win. Okay. So there we go. And then we see here. There we go like this. Player, span ID, player win, class hidden. Okay, good. Player win. Span ID, player winner. And then we have the computer winner down there. Span ID, computer win, hidden. Okay, span computer win. Okay, let's try one more before I go into debugging mode there. And let's see. So, reload it, start the game, player, roll like that. 14 stop, and the computer wins. Let me just go into debugging mode and see what I did here. Okay, I'm gonna be back real short. Okay, maybe if we just sort of try to run this in the debugger and see what happens. The other way I was thinking, okay, let's add a lot of console.logs and print out what's actually happening. But let's see, if we go into the debugger there, shows the page.html. So this is the main. Let's start with the main. And then we go down, and maybe if we sort of try to add a breakpoint here, perhaps, and do some stepping. Okay, I wonder what this is. Okay, uncaught type error. Assignment to constant variable. Aha, constant winner. No, that's not gonna work. It's gonna be a let there. I wonder if we, yes, assignment to constant variable. We saw the same thing in the console there. There is the error, okay? Always look in the console when you do this. So I wonder if I can change this here. What happens? And let's just see if we can sort of play the game. Stop. Let me roll the dice. And let's see if we go to the console. No. So let's go in here. So could that be the only thing? So let there. Let's see. let's see, go back and we can have the console up there. I'm going to do a hard reload just to be sure. And then we can sort of, okay, let the player roll. Stop on 20. Good score. And then the computer rolls. Oh, sorry. I added a breakpoint there. Move ahead. No, I don't want to have the sort of. Okay, I think I removed it. I removed the breakpoint. I can stay in the console, no errors. Computer is the winner. Oh, he got 21 when I got 20. Okay, let's make it another game here. Okay, so I'm gonna roll here. Oh, I got 21. Great. And the computer will roll the dice as 24. The player is the winner. So let's restart the game once more. Let's go. I'm gonna stop on 18. No, I'm gonna go 21. Ooh, great. Computer cannot beat me like that. One more, and let's just make the give the computer a chance. Winner on equal. Yes. So I actually think that we have a game. It is a working game. So, okay, so maybe we should sort of disable some buttons when they can't be clicked. But enhancing the GUI currently is not my main focus. My main focus here was to create, show you how to create a small JavaScript sort of application and see how we then sort of partly structured. If I go here and see how I can sort of remove all these parts there. And we saw how the page structure was built up. And you saw how I used both IDs to all the parts of the page what I needed to connect. And you also saw that I used classes for all the things I wanted to style. And then the main structure of my JavaScript game was then, so I put all the actual code, I tried to put it into modules, and then I worked with these modules. I needed to attach to all the different parts of the graphical user interface in the page then, the important elements that I wanted to update or attach an event handler to. So a lot of those elements. And then it's just sort of a matter, okay, what should I do when I start the game? So when the start button was clicked, okay, do this. Work with the player, reset them, show and hide some things on the on the web page. And I moved on. The player rolled the dice, so player can roll dice until the player chooses to stop. And when the player chooses to stop, it is the computer time, and the computer will roll everything in one sort of loop according to some rule there. And when that is done, I can sort of decide who is the sort of winner. And maybe one could argue if all this sort of code here should be in the main function, or if I should move this code into some other module. Still, I made two modules. I don't think my game main is too hard. It doesn't contain too much logic. Maybe this winner logic is one logic, and maybe I could sort of move somewhere else or consider to move to another class. I could, of course, create functions for these so I don't write the code into the event listeners. But since it's such a small game and it's a lot of focus on these click events, I just structured my code like this. But yeah, maybe I would consider to sort of create a class from this, but this class then needs to have access to all these elements. So it depends on if that code looks better or not. Still, we have a game, and it's done with JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and we can play it. Let's play it for the final time and see if the player can win over the computer. Yes, player won. And I think that's fine. So that was how to code in JavaScript in the browser and try to build a smaller application, but having all the parts that events, Doom, working with the Doom, working with ESM modules in a structure. So I think we're good. We did good. Okay, have a nice day, and I see you some other time. Bye-bye. You know what? I forgot to clean up my game here. So if I gonna go ahead and run the linters as the last thing to do here. So npm run lint. I want to sort of clean it up. It was, oh wow, so there we saw modules, players, a lot of 2-4 spaces, dice, a lot of 2-4 spaces. Seems like I have bad setup on my on my editor here. So let's see if we can sort of just fix these. So let's start with the ESLint and do some fix for it. Okay, good work. Let's see if we have any errors left. No. Okay, did we have any more? Let's run all the linters again. See, okay, we have a few errors. It's the style. Okay, let's run style lint and let's fix that also. And good. And now we have no errors on the style lint. Nope. Excellent. npm run lint. Good work, everybody. Good. So now I think we are all done with this, and we cleaned it up also. Excellent. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.